Welcome to this guide on how to run the Nightmare Mode Ankh dungeon. So, when you first run in, the thing to do is immediately avoid the moats. The moats are a recurrent theme throughout the dungeon, and you're introduced to them right at the beginning. The idea of them is that they will attach to you, stop you from casting anything, and then if someone else doesn't DPS them off you fast enough, they will explode and kill you. You'll encounter them in a lot of fights throughout the Ankh, and generally just don't get in their way. So in the first boss fight, the Squalid Hecaturgist, a large part of the movement is based around avoiding these moats. The only other ability to worry about is going to be Heca Blast, which he's going to cast on the tank. So as you can see here, they've crossed over and then the tank goes in. I'm running pistol assault rifle here, so I'm staying up nice and close to him to stay in pistol range. The moats will move around the outside, going 4 spaces, and then they will cross over. When they cross over, you need to be getting out of the way. Otherwise, it's pretty much just a straight tank and spank, really. All you have to do is make sure that you don't pick up one of the moats yourself. If the tank picks up a moat like he has just done here, then the healer will keep him up, and you need to switch on to the moat to shoot it off him before it kills him. That's what Heca Blast looks like. It's centered on the tank. Don't stand in it. There's not that much you can really worry about. Other than that, he goes down pretty quickly. And then we move on to the fight, which is one of the more irritating in this dungeon. Now, the route that we take down here is to avoid as much of a fight as possible. If you turn around and walk backwards off a drop, then you're less likely to overshoot stuff and pull accidentally. Another example of how to avoid moats here. And here we have the second boss, the pain in many pugs' asses, Dr. Klein. It's a nice idea to try and wait for your team members to get through this little gauntlet just in case you do need to shoot something. Some people screw up on dropping down and they pull the ads up there. So, Dr. Klein. As you can see, Dr. Klein at the moment has a mob on his right, which is the Dimensional Reaper. This is the other moment where you want to lock the tank as your defensive target. So he's going to be casting moats down the right hand side there. It can be on either side. The tank's pulled the Reaper down, and you nuke the Reaper first because he shields Klein. When the Reaper dies, he'll do a Heca Blast. Klein will basically cast Open the Void, which is where you get these moats coming down, and he'll cast Swell of Mutation as well. That's what Swell of Mutation looks like. He will physically turn and point to whichever side he is casting something on, so that's your cue to move out of the way. Bizarrely, the closer that you stand to him, the easier it is. I've heard various theories like stuff accelerates. I can't say whether that's true or not. Now, coming up, we should get a lovely purple flash on the screen, which will indicate that he's about to start casting Dreaming Shroud, which is the big one to worry about. There's the purple flash. That's the time for either DPS or the healer, normally the healer, to cast Reap and Sow. You go full burn, pop all your buffs at this point, and we've actually skipped his other mechanic there because we've DPS'd him quite so hard. I'll have to make another video where we do him slowly. Yeah, not much point in going into mechanics that haven't been shown there. So if you've got good DPS, it's a really nice and quick fight. If you don't get Dreaming Shroud at the right kind of time, then if you don't get Reap and Sow off, then Dreaming Shroud will very quickly kill a tank. Point of these ads is to teach you about hacker eruptions, where you get the little mummy ads who will cast hacker eruption, which will do about 4k damage, which stings on the tank. It will kill a DPS. So we jumped down onto the platform there to avoid having to fight more ads, kill more mummy ads, and then we get to the next difficult fight, which is the Orochi Dead Ops. Now there's 3 of these guys, so this is a really useful time to have the ability to mark with the 3 factions different colours. The order that you kill them in does not matter. What matters is making sure that everyone agrees on the order. So here we're going red, green, blue, from right to left. Right to left is the most common way of doing it, which is going to focus single target DPS onto each of them until they are dead. The tank is going to have to worry about them putting a hinder on him called close down, and then they like to toss around frag grenades. Frag grenades really hurt. They will hurt the tank, they will kill DPS. So that's frag grenades, lovely use of an impair there. And we're all just nuking down, and the healer has used a reap and sow, because at this point there's massive damage incoming for the tank. So as soon as the red one goes down, we all shift onto the green one. Still loads of damage incoming for the tank. You can use a second reap and sow if you're feeling worried. He's again got some nice impairs going off there, and we're on to the third. Once you're on the third, then he's got a sort of soft enrage where he gains an ability called full clip, which he's just used, does about 3k damage to his target. If he targets a DPS, they're buggered. That was a frag grenade he cast onto the DPS, and unfortunately caught one of us in it. Normally you can get out of them fairly easily if you're sort of not paying attention terribly much, or sort of you get a bit of lag, then yeah, they're going to toast you. Again, dropping down by walking backwards sort of controls your fall much better than walking forwards. So we're now going to go up against the next boss, which is the Dimensional Arachnid. This is arguably the easiest boss in the dungeon. All you have to worry about is her spewing filth pools all over the place, and the way you avoid them is just don't stand in them. Black bile is the filth pools that she casts, and as you can see, she's got 3 mobs channeling a cast onto her at the moment at the front. There's another 2 at the back. We've got nice high DPS, so the tank's basically running around interrupting the 3 mobs at the front and getting aggro on them to make sure that the healer doesn't get hate on them. The DPS just burns them down. Here's the map for some reason. I have no idea why I hit that button. I suspect I have fat fingers. So the tank's bouncing back and forth, keeping hate on all 3 mobs at the front, and we are just burning the boss. Simple as. And there she goes down. Important thing to do at this point is to make sure that you tag the well here. If you don't tag the well and you screw up on the next boss, which is right here, then you can then get pushed back to the well, which is sort of back up by the Orochi Dead Ops, which you really don't want the hassle of having to run back that far. So as you can see here, I've made sure to have razor wire on, because we will be needing to hinder some mobs. He's got Judgment. Judgment is an ability which he will use whenever anyone gets within 5 meters of him. So meleeing Melethat is a big no-no. So single target DPS here. Burn through the 2 Guardian Mummies to start off with. It doesn't matter which one you pick. Then you pop a gate, and then the tank uses an impair. Otherwise, all of those mummies will use Hacker Eruption, and it all goes horribly wrong. Now we get our first bit of burn time on the boss. The tank here is helping us out by putting some exposed on, and then after a little while he's going to run off and handle the other gate. As you can see there, Melithat has now got a sort of red flamey effect on him, which means that he's going to start moving a lot faster, and to stay out of judgment we run away. We go up and we burn the one dead ops who's guarding this gate down, and again focus single target DPS on the ad. I'm watching out here because I know that there are going to be ads coming from behind us, which is going to be very important for when they turn up, because here they come and we don't want to get caught out. So razor wire doesn't work as well as it used to, but really any kind of hinder will slow them down enough so that you can burn them. It's exactly the same at that gate, sort of the tank used Art of War. And once again we have a lovely burn on Melithat, constantly backing up, because you don't want to get too close to him for when he gets his lovely red flamey stuff, and we turn around and run away again. This is the last gate that he's going to stand at, so at this point the DPS goes full single target, and we ignore the ads that are coming through. Tanks used Crimson Theatre in order to get hate on them, and then runs back to pick up the dead ops at the back, and we just kill off the boss. Now I'm popping on safety off here, because it's a really good idea to have a longer ranged builder for this next fight. So, as you should know from Elite, sort of we run down here and sort of jump through all of the filth. If you haven't got it on Elite or Normal, then there is, I think, one law which drops from the Spider guys, otherwise don't really worry about it. Now, this is the fight which takes most practice out of all of them, really. It combines elements of the Klein fight on the bridge with completely unique aspects. You're going to be fighting Melithat again. Melithat has a cleave, which means that the DPS need to stand off to one side and casts sinkholes centered on the tank. So the tank runs in on the right and we all stand back here. That way we're safely out of range of the cleave. And to start off with, just nuke. When Melithat hits 75%, he's going to drop down to his knees, and the tank will run up to Klein. It needs to be the tank, because Klein will continue to hit whoever goes up and interrupts his cast, and the tank is the only one who's got the hit points and the incoming heals to survive it. So there he's dropped down to one knee, and there goes the tank. Meanwhile, we keep shooting him. As you'll see, sort of, I'm critting and penning for almost nothing here. The shield which Klein is channeling onto Melithat absorbs massive amounts of damage. As soon as he's been interrupted, that shield stops, and so you need to be a little bit careful about pulling hate off of the tank. There are some people who use Confuse, other people stop DPS, otherwise just sort of go a bit easy. Misdirection is another useful thing you can use. So that was the next 25%. Again, went really quickly, and the tank's having to rush up to get Klein. There's a strong chance that that the Melithat will stand up before the tank gets back at this point. So this is the one where you really need to watch your aggro. If you're having big problems, slot subtlety, and it's really important for you to not pull hate on this, because if Melithat comes over and decides to cleave someone, then everyone's going to die. There, the tank had to use a provoke to actually get Melithat back because someone had pulled hate. So Melithat's hit about 25%, and Klein has come down. There was also a ad in one of the sinkholes there, which we just nuked our way through. And Klein is casting a wave of mutation, which the tank has been able to use Spiral of Death to sort of teleport through and impair Klein's cast. If he doesn't do that, then Klein will continue to send waves of stuff down the bit that we're standing on, and we won't be able to get back onto it to DPS Melathat. Melathat is the primary target here, so just nuke him down, get him killed as quickly as possible. And the reason I like to use safety off here is that it's got a longer range than the business, and so sort of I'm I'm slightly safer at a distance. So here we have Klein, who's still busy casting all of his stuff on us. As you can see, we're shooting him and not actually doing any damage. Whilst he's casting all that, he's immune to damage. So really, we're just amusing ourselves. The tank can go across through the filth and interrupt it. Otherwise, just wait until he teleports over again. It doesn't really change that much. So he's casting another wave of mutation. We've left it fairly late to run away from it. And it's caught one of our DPS. But if you've got a good DPS squad, then you should still be able to DPS him down, even if you've lost a couple. Once he hits low health, then you'll have to chase him up the pyramid. Sort of monument-y thingy. That's the hardest part, right there. Jumping across that sodding divide. If you fall in the filth, unless you're the tank, you're dead. It's killed me God knows how many times. We let the tank go in first, because you want the tank to be the one getting the aggro. So tank starts to beat on him, and then you get a pair of Dimensional Reapers again. And you pull down one, and we're actually DPSing the one that he's pulled down first, getting that nuked and killed, watching out for the hacker eruption, which will come when you kill the that ad, and then we're killing off the second Dimensional Reaper. There's loads and loads of damage on this tank, which is worrying, but we're staying on top of it. It's all good. Getting the Reaper nuked, and he's fine. Cooldown was up just at the end there, so got him pulled down. And then you're on to Klein. You just nuke Klein as hard as you can. The amount of damage which he deals increases the longer that he's alive. And so it's really important that you do as much damage as fast as you can. And then as soon as he goes down, then you can rejoice. And if you've done it on Master Planner, then you can swear that you'll never set foot in here ever again. Thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions, please leave a comment, or you can hit me up on the main Secret World forums.